Welcome to the Red Hot News, where we provide you with a comprehensive, holistic view of life as a business owner, entrepreneur, or creative. Join us on our journey to provide you insights via audio and visual podcasting about your business, health and wellness, financial, spiritual, family, and more. Join us on the Red Hot News, where you get hot business news that you can use.
Hi, I'm Michiel D. Burnett of the Red Hot News. We are so excited to have you on today. And the Red Hot News is now in video. So, really excited. We want to thank everyone on our staff that has been helping out diligently to push this out. The Red Hot News has been a long time coming, but I'm telling you, we're here to change the scape of entrepreneurship. We are all things entrepreneurial, and we're hot business news that all entrepreneurs can use. So today, we are just really, we are so excited. We have a very, very special guest. This is someone that I've known for over 30 years, personally and professionally. And everything she does, she operates in excellence. She is truly a subject matter expert. And her name is Carol White. Carol White is from Integrity Marketing Solutions, where they're elevating small businesses with SMS marketing solutions, which is, for those that may not know, text platforms of many types, strategic planning, and she is an expert in that field. And she is a small business certified mentor through SCORE. SCORE is Senior Corps of Retired Executives. And she is very well knowledged in many facets of business. And today we're going to delve in and to learn more from Carol. So, Carol, let's first begin by telling the audience a little bit about who you are.
Well, as Michiel said, I'm Carol White, founder of Integrity Marketing Solutions, where I help entrepreneurs and small businesses grow through strategic marketing and sales. I have over 30 years in Fortune 500 sales and business development, and I've helped businesses launch, scale, as well as thrive. Today, I know we're digging into a really big question. So I'll let you go ahead and let the audience know what we're going to be talking about.
Okay, yes, we're talking about entrepreneurship, and a lot of people are ready to go on the journey, or they're already on that journey. So we're coming to you to learn, to teach them how to go back. And even though they have a foundation, let's look at their foundation and see if what they're doing is actually correct. And let me just explain on that real quick. I've been in business probably about 20 years, maybe about 15 to 20 years, and we had known Carol, and there was something that we had never did before. And she had said, "Oh, you need to do a business plan." I said, "Who? What's that?" We just do what we do, and we just go how we go. And many of us have done that. Many of our families have done that. And there is no longevity. There's not as much success as you could get. And then there's no succession plan. So Carol got a hold of me through several situations, and she was like, "You need to do a business plan." So this endeavor that we're currently working on, we did the business plan and we followed her wise counsel. Sometimes people are around you, they're giving you counsel and you just know it all. Don't be a know-it-all. It's never too late to go back and to start and reassess your foundation, to build upon that and to grow. And since we followed the wise counsel and the resources that Carol suggested and led us to, this has been one of our most profitable businesses that we've had to date. And then the foundational structure and information that I learned, I went back and applied it to the printing and the graphic and the marketing company that we had, and even with the nonprofit. And so the things that we do are happening at a quicker rate of pace. So, and within 5 years, our nonprofit is doing things that we hadn't even got close to when before we followed her wise counsel. And then we're even getting grants and opening up doors. We're collaborating. So it was some lifelong skills. So it's never too late to go back, assess where you are, and then to basically humble yourself. Humble yourself, Michelle. Don't be like me, right? In the beginning. And to learn when you have wise counsel that's right there to help you take to you to your next. Okay.
Absolutely.
Would you like to add anything to it before I ask you a question? Because I know you have a lot of wisdom.
Well, I guess my question would be, are you really ready? Are you really ready to start a business? Because if you are, I can't wait to share insights that will help you decide what your next best move should be.
So, what would be the first thing you would tell someone? There's two ways to look at this. There are people that have not started yet. What would you tell them will be the first steps to beginning to launch out, to step out and do this business?
Well, one of the first steps, definitely, if they have not landed on anything, uh, is why do you want to start a business? Why? Why? It's your why, and your why will carry you far. So you really need to know what's motivating you. Is it freedom? Is it your passion for something? If you don't know what that is, you got to find out. Is it money? Are you trying to escape the 9 to 5? So, what is your why? And from your why, that will help dictate to you what direction you should be going in. Do you have a skill set? What is that? I find that a lot of it's a big mixture. There are people with great skills, but that's all they have is the skill. That's half the battle, is having the skill. The other half is, okay, so now how do I make this work for me so that I can live off of the skills that God has given me? Then there are others that don't really have a skill set, but they're thinking about what is it they could be doing. Well, that takes some investigation and some studying and being out there trying to figure out who you are and what is it that you like to do. Because every business is not cut out for every person, and you have to know that.
So let's say a person knows what their skill set is, and people like, "Ah, you need to do that as a business," and they do it on a repetition, they do it on a regular basis. After that, what is the next steps to develop the plan?
Okay, so there are a lot of people out there that are doing what they love and they have passion. And if you ask me, from what I've seen, is the love of what they do, the passion that they have behind it is going to take them a long way. So, without a strong sense of why you really want to do this, and a lot of times it's because I'm good at it, right? You'll struggle when challenges hit. So you definitely need to do some insightful questioning to yourself. You would ask yourself, would you do this even if it took time to generate a profit? Because there are a lot of people that have been doing businesses and they're not turning a profit, but they like what they do. So they keep doing it, and they just need to get a structure in place and get some help so they can put it into a structure that they can now start generating some revenue, because a lot of people don't know what it takes to actually run the business. They're just doing it. They haven't done any pricing. They haven't, you know, done any background on, do you need employees or don't you, and how much you're going to pay them. Nothing. They're just out there.
So that's a perfect time to talk about how you helped me. And my family and our community, all because you delved in and you weren't afraid to say, like, hey, hello, let's try this again. And when Miss Carol came to me and said, hey, have you thought about, because this is a transition time that we had been in business for years doing the same old thing and it wasn't really working. We were just doing it because we loved it. And at that time, we were in the deep. Really, we were drowning because we didn't have enough funds to be able to sustain ourselves. We had been entrepreneurs for so long, we were stuck and we were like, how do we go get a job? We really didn't know. And I know for some people that have worked jobs, they don't understand. Once you've been out there in the game so long, you kind of just get stuck. So at that point, our lease was up from one of our current locations doing printing. I ended up going to New Jersey. Some things had happened. My dad passed, and then bam, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? We don't have a location. She says, hey, I found this program, and it was the WBDC, Women's Business Development Center. Why don't you apply? So I was like, girl, please, I ain't thinking about you, really. That's just real. And so I did do the program after, as
Kicking
Mr.
and
Burnett would
screaming.
say, right, I acquiesced, which means
Kicking,
I
kicking and
kicked and
screaming.
screamed, and who knows what else. Probably, I really wanted to slap her, probably pimp slap her, right? But I did it kicking and screaming, and basically what that was fear of the unknown, fear of something I had never did. And I was like, because I had been in the suburbs so long, I was like, oh my God, I have to take a train by myself. And for some people, if it's not, that's not it could be something else as you're going down the journey that makes you afraid of starting out and just recommitting and how am I going to do it? So I did it scared. And long story short, I took the class, and after the end of the class, it was, I think, 12 sessions. I ended up completing the big B, the business plan, the cuss word, a
Now,
plan. And
now, let's
oh
just say,
God.
let's let's just say, she wanted to pay somebody
Oh yeah, that's right, I did.
to do her business plan, and I said, absolutely not. And she says, I don't have time. I'm not dealing with this. I said, no, because if you put it together, if you'll know what is happening in your business, I said, you will know the ins and outs. You will know your profit levels. You'll know your break evens. You'll know what it is. How many people do you need, in that business to make it go? You'll know everything about your business if you do the plan. If you let somebody else do the plan, well, you're just reading it, and it might not be sinking in if you had to put the numbers down, do a lot of, or little, even a little bit of the research. Then it's in here. It's in here. And when you're talking to people and they're talking to you, you know exactly what you're talking about because you put the plan together.
So out of all the businesses, like I said, we have done, this was I was the most prepared. After I had did that with, and I had a business plan, I was able to, at this particular time, I was awarded a grant. It was $1,000, and so I was able to take that money and to utilize it for items for, at that time, DBC offices, which was a business center. They had not been a business center in the south suburbs before. And so, based on me doing the plan, I learned about market research. So, I learned about what's going on in the industry, the trends, and it was clearly stated that, okay, this is no one is doing this out here. And if I wouldn't have done the plan, it was easy to listen to the friends, family, and goodwill folk. Girl, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If I was you, I'd move downtown. But because I did what? I stuck to the grind, even though I didn't want to do it kicking and screaming, because I'm just keeping it real, because you need to know the truth. I did that plan, and the plan said, hello, that is the answer. And so that is what has sustained us. And when we met, we had all of our marketing material ready because why? I had did a plan. All we needed was just the address. And as I talked to different owners of buildings to say, hey, we want to bring this here and that, we knew that if it was the right fit or not. We walked away from lots of people, lots of deals because we had a plan and we knew where we were going. And then also it encouraged me to move forward, and I didn't have to keep, regardless of how long it took. I think it was about a year or so before we actually got the right location, because we weren't looking for just any location. We were looking for the right location. And so a year into it, one day the Holy Spirit said, "Hey, take your daughter, pick her up from band." I was like, "Well, I got to do that." And I picked her up and I met a man. And that man says, I told him, he said, "Tell him what you want to do." And I told him, and he said, "Oh, I know. We've talked to somebody in our town that is interested in doing something similar." He knew what it was, referred me to the owner. I met the owner and I told him, like, bam, this is it. Cause what? I did the plan. And I just like, and after you read the plan and it becomes a part of you, you just let that stuff flow. And he was like, "I've talked to many people, but I've never talked to anybody as good as you, because you know what you're talking about." And he turned over the keys with no money down, and it was fully furnished already. All we did is put TVs up, and then we put the coffee. We bought coffee mugs and stuff like that. Everything else was already taken care of. And then also, Carol was part of that deal. She was there negotiating. And that's why you also need someone alongside of you that's I was going to say a subject matter expert, but you need someone to hold you accountable. And even after you get to a certain point, the fear may try to come on you. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not ready." My husband said, "We're not ready." She said, "Shut up, you are ready." I'm like, "Oh, we're ready." And let me say,
That
I'm sorry.
actually did
I know,
happen.
I'm sorry. I know it's supposed to be your interview, but people need to know the whole
No,
truth. They want to
no,
go, "Oh, it's
right.
beautiful.
I was like,
Look,
oh no,
we
look,
tried to say
I'm turning
no,
around.
and
And I
Carol
said, oh
wouldn't
no,
let us.
I
And
wouldn't
so
let
it
her
was
say no.
right. It was like we were duct taped, saying, no, and we kept saying no. He didn't, and we're the ones on the agreement, the lease, and we had to sign it. We were saying no, we don't want to do it, and
And I
and
said, they
and,
want
and
to
the
do
Holy
it. Where is it?
Spirit duct taped us so he wouldn't even listen to us, and he listened to her. And we still signing, and we up there like we were, "No, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it." And we signed the lease before we know it. We're like, "What have we done?" We're like, "I don't know." And
Yep.
we're in its history. It's been since what, almost 10 years now. But we're
That's,
grateful.
that's basically how it went. We could do a comedy sketch
Oh
off of that
God,
whole thing.
that's
But
the good version.
yeah,
And she drove me around, made me go on tours. Look,
yeah, I
studying your
did a lot of things.
competition. That's why you got to listen to people and get help. "Well, I don't need help." Okay, well, if you think you a know-it-all, then you're gonna go through a couple more years like that. And sometimes you will miss trends where you miss industries. She
Right.
said, "You've been placed here for such a time as this because no one else is doing it out here." And now we have more people in our area doing it, and we just like, hey, we just rolling and flipping because hey, we know what we're doing, and we came out here first, all because someone believed in us and they pushed us. We wasn't like competition, like, "I'm gonna be your competition." We worked together, and she helped us, to her and her husband, to push us to go to the next. And then now all the people that were able to be helped, all because of the seed that she planted and encouraged us to move forward.
But let me tell you about
Oh, the
a
truth, right?
fact that would just take too long. That would take me.
Woo!
But you have to do your research and you have to get out there. And so I had clients downtown. And so I was already in not one co working space, but I was in a
Oh,
couple of co
yeah.
working spaces. And so I told her, I said, well, you need to come down here and I'll take you around and show you how all this is working. So you have some kind of working knowledge about what it is that you're getting ready to do, and what you're seeing them do versus what you think you might be able to do. You take what you think would work in your business, as a co-working space, and you utilize that. So I took her on a field trip and we went to several different co-working spaces. We examined them, the way they operated, what was
You
going
dragged
on
me.
there. Yeah, I dragged her kicking and screaming. But she knows how they operate and how hers is different, and what she saw that was positive, and what made that particular co-working space, what made their engines go, and what made the people come. And so you have to get out there and do your research. You just can't say, I want to do this, and then have never seen it in operation before.
So, Miss Carol, that's a good point that we could jump in. Let's thank our sponsors and let's pick up in a second after that.
Before we dive into the latest insights, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible sponsors behind the Red Hot News. DBC Offices is your go-to hub for business success, connecting you with resources that drive community impact. Then there's VM, or Vision Marketing, elevating brands with their strategic marketing expertise.
Ray Digital Business Solutions is all about innovating digital strategies that fuel growth. And let's not forget Andre Heavenly Home Care Services, providing compassionate care that truly makes a difference. These sponsors are the backbone of our show, helping us deliver the content that matters most to you. So, when you support them, you're supporting the very essence of Red Hot News.
Before we dive
So thank you for our sponsors. So Carol, let's dive back in. So you were talking about the importance of us taking field trips and to learn about your competition. And then Carol did something that was for me next level. She took me and introduced me to two people that were business owners that were doing the same thing that we were about to do in different areas. And that worked out really, really well. And so I encourage business owners, there's nothing wrong with asking, like, hey, can you show me how to do this, or how do you do it? And so that really came in handy. And if somebody says no and they don't want to, it's okay. Shake the dust from your feet, keep it moving, because there is somebody that is going to help you because someone helped them. Nobody can make it to where they are by themselves.
Absolutely not. No one can make it. So if you feel like you have a purpose, that's the start. So whatever you feel like your purpose is, what it might be, or like your passion and your skill set, all of that fuels perseverance. So just know that you know what direction you should be going in, but there's still more work to do. So, there is something that I developed called the entrepreneurial readiness checklist, because not everybody not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. You know, sometimes, you might be better at having a side hustle or in the gig economy, but being a 9 to 5 or 24-hour entrepreneur, because let me just say, it's not 9 to 5. It's who you are. You sleep what you do. Your every breath is dedicated to what you're doing. So you're going to wear, in the beginning, many hats, and so some people cannot. That is just too much stress. They don't have the time, the energy, nor the fortitude. So in this entrepreneurial readiness checklist that I have, I'm going to ask the audience to rate yourselves on a 1 to 5 on a couple of questions. Well, it's more than a couple of questions. But this gets to the heart of whether you think that you should be in business in the first place. So rate yourselves from 1 to 5 on these questions. Question number 1: do you have a clear vision or a problem that you are solving? What problem are you solving? Now, you heard Michelle say the problem that she was solving, if you were listening, she's solving the problem of co-working space in the south suburbs, because there were no co-working spaces in the south suburbs. There are lots of business people in the south suburbs, but there was not a co-working space. So that was the problem that she was solving. What problem are you solving? Okay. Number 2, are you comfortable with uncertainty and risk? Because anytime that you step out to do a business, if you're going to do it full time, There's always uncertainty and there's always unrisk. There's always risk. But the uncertainty comes in from many angles. What was good today, as you guys can see from the political climate that we're in, is not good tomorrow. The contract that you had today might not exist tomorrow. And this is true.
That's
I
true.
have I have friends that have contracts with the federal government and they're millionaires, okay? And they got a call too, just like you heard, the contracts were frozen.
But we also experienced that when we were looking at a manufacturing plant that we were looking into. I don't know if we weren't purchasing it. We were doing, we were buying furniture from in Detroit one time. And a man put all of his energy in one stream of income. And then he built it up around this one. And it was maybe like a major company. And when that contract ended, guess what? They didn't have that stream of income. So multiple streams is always good. So if one stream is slowed down or is cut out or is delayed, you have money coming in other ways. So if you don't mind, can we just do a quick transition and that the information you're given on your checklist, let our audience know when your ebook will be launching so they can download it and purchase it.
Well, they don't even have to wait for the ebook. At the end, I will give them the checklist and I'll tell them a way that they can get the checklist
Okay, so if
so
that's
that
your
they can,
ebook, Miss Lisa will help you with that one.
so no,
From
it's just a checklist though.
Okay, so we talked about people that have not, that may not know where to start. For the last few minutes that we have left, can we just focus in on people that are already in business? They're already in the game, they're in the grind, they're making it happen. And what things can they do to go back and make improvements in their business?
Well, the first thing that they can do um, is to make improvements in their business. Um, do you have a financial runway? You might be in business, but do you have a financial runway? How how much do you really need to get this business to where you want it to go? There's a number. Do you have
So
that
how did they
number?
find that out? How did they find that out?
Well, you find that out because you're going to partner with a score mentor or somebody. If you don't have the money to pay a consultant, you can use score and they will talk to you about the financials of running a business. You
How
can,
do they find out how do they find out how to get to a score person if they can't reach you?
well, you go to score.org and you can sign up. Or at the end, you can reach me and then you can get services free through score. So that's one way to get your services free. Now, if you want a consultant and you want to pay, that's a whole nother story. But for most people who are trying to launch, what I've seen over the last 25, 30 years is most businesses suffer because they don't have the equity, they don't have the finances, they don't have the bridge loan, they don't have the finances to take it to that next level. So you have to get your financials in order to be able to show or and they can see that your business is thriving. You just need that bridge loan to take you over the top.
So what if
So
they're in business already and they're not necessarily, they can't get a loan? Because you and I had talked about that when
right.
we applied for this grant dealing with the socioeconomically and disadvantaged individual. Let's cut to the chase. We can do all the MBA and all the business accounting and strategies, but what if people are in business and they can't get loans and access to capital? What are they to do?
Well, that's what you see every day. You're looking at businesses every day. I would say 80% of all businesses don't have access to capital. So they're bootstrapping. So you pretty much have to bootstrap it, or you can ask for investors to come in and
But wait,
help you.
what does access to capital mean?
Access to capital means that you have partnered with a bank, Shark Tank, you know, angel investors that are giving you access to capital. Now, on the more modern note, they have platforms where you put your business idea in and people can come and fund that business idea because you don't have access to capital. So, this is one way a lot of the younger business owners have been funding their projects. Okay. So they get on the platform, they put their business ideas up there, and they make a video, and you welcome to get on the platforms. There are many of them out there now. There's so many, I can develop a list for you, but there are a lot of them out there. And you put everything that you need to on the platform, and people come and they're looking for businesses to invest in. I invested, believe it or not, I invested in Curl Mix because Curl Mix was on one of those platforms. And I said, I've got natural hair. Natural hair is the thing right now. And they're out of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And so this was during the pandemic. Okay, so they put themselves on the platform. I saw them, I invested.
So which platform? Do you remember which one that was? If you can give us one and then we can just research.
Yeah,
Or
I'd
what
have
is
to,
the title?
oh gosh, I'd have to remember. There's so many. But
Okay.
I can't remember the exact one, but I have a couple of them that I go on. So, but that is something that I could also, um, give to you guys
So
at
that's a
the
good
end.
idea how you were able to help people through mentorship with SCORE. You've invested in businesses locally in the community and you invest on those platforms. So once we get, I don't want to say to a certain level, but we should always be able to reach back and help someone.
Now, this is important too.
Yes.
Depending on what type of business that you are and where you see yourself going, you have to have the right, you have to have the right business structure. And the reason I say that is because, of course, there's sole proprietorships, there's the LLCs, and then there's the corporate incorporation type businesses slash subchapter S. Okay, now if you are LLC and you decide that you want outside money from investors like Shark Tank. And the reason I'm saying Shark Tank is because everybody knows what that is.
Okay.
You know, everybody knows, but there are groups of individuals that will loan you money just like Shark Tank. You're just not on TV. You just have to go to the forum and do your necessary work and be able to deliver uh, to those investors what it is that you want, and then they'll give you the money. But most of them are not going to give you the money unless you've been incorporated because they want shares of your stock. Okay, and in an LLC you can't do that way. So if you already know that you want some of those type of investors, then it's best that you incorporate and not be an LLC.
Okay. Well, that's good. So it's important before we set up a company that we take time out and we get wise counsel. So there are a few people that you need to have in your network. So, Carol, would you like to tell people that? Because even if you don't have them now and you're already in business, you can still get them.
Okay, so one of the things that I always talk about, and Michelle will tell you, I've hammered her on more than one occasion.
Hammer, slapped. Oh, I'm sorry.
The You cannot do this in a vacuum. So you need a team, and you need to assemble your team.
The four-letter word, team. Oh, sorry.
Team.
Oh,
You
sorry. A
need
cuss word.
on your team somebody that is good, that you know, and all you have to do is talk about it or go to some groups, business groups. There are business groups all around you. You go to the business groups, you meet people. You need an accountant, you need a finance person, you need somebody that knows some marketing. And I'm talking about marketing in terms of what type of product, because there's different marketing for different types of product. The
Yes.
big deal now is e-commerce. That's been the big deal. You got to market on social media, TikTok, all of that. So you need the marketing person that knows how to do social media marketing slash marketing, which is the regular marketing. So it just depends. You need, in this day and age, which we didn't need before, you need somebody like Lisa Ray that does podcasts. You
Yes,
need,
that is Ray Business Solutions, podcast,
yes,
websites, and automation with AI. Thank you very much.
yes, that's what you need. You so the as we speak, the world is changing, and has changed before our very eyes, of the things that you need to do to stay afloat. It's not the same old anymore. It's not
Hmm.
just straight business. You got to look and say, what lane am I in and what do I really need? The car mechanic, they're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Next door.
um, next. They're every. It's not just put the sign up saying "Come to my shop."
No.
Okay, so you have to know those things. So you need to surround yourself at all times when it comes to business, to be in those business circles where you can learn more so that you can do more and you can have those people around you. You can you networking. I
Ooh,
hammer that too.
yes.
Networking is something that you need to do on a regular basis,
Get out
especially
your office.
get out of your office and go meet people, because for me, collaboration is key. You can collaborate and do some business ventures or do some business events. Collaboration is key because, like I said, you can't do it all by yourself.
Can you
So,
explain what collaboration is? We don't, our podcast is for all cultures, but sometimes I notice certain segments, certain races don't collab or collaborate. Can you explain to those that are a little bit that are a little older, over 40, that may not know what that is, and give an example of what it is?
okay, so I'm a business person, and I'm going to put it into a co working scenario. Okay, so I'm a business person. I'm in my office, I'm at my co working space, and there are other business people around me. And let's say I'm over here trying to work on a landing page that maybe I don't know how to do very well. But the person in that office is a social media guru, and they know how to do landing pages. Okay. So This is one step of collaboration. So I go out of my pod cubicle office, knock on the door, and I say, hey, can you tell me how to do this landing page? I think I've got it right, but I'm not really sure. And they're like, no problem. Let me see what you got. This is what you do. This is how you do it. It took 5 minutes. That's collaborating. Okay. And then next week, they're at your door because they need some of your expertise.
Mm.
Okay. I know you said that you did strategic marketing, and I'm trying to figure out what my verticals might be and how I might go about this. Can you weigh in on this? Yes, I can. Now, we're not charging each other
Mm.
because we're collaborating back and forth, back and forth. Collaboration in the building, collaboration in the circle. We're collaborating. We're collaborating across the aisle, okay, to try to see if we can get things done because we're all here for one thing, and that is to do business
And to help one another out. And when
and
we were
to
in
help one
Cisco's
another
when we were in
do
Cisco's Music
business.
World, now that you've explained that, we had a scenario. For those that don't know what co-working is, those are shared office spaces. Some people may call them incubators, but they're shared office spaces, and the open areas are in desk space or in offices. When we were in Cisco's Music World, yes, it helped us out tremendously when we talked to other business owners. We were doing graphics, marketing at the time. Then another person did websites. Another person did credit card merchant services, and then we all worked together, and then over time we began to grow up and out of that actual space before that location closed. So collaborations can be effective, and it's a win-win when you don't look at it like what you're going to do for me. It's what you can do to help each other out.
Right. And you're in the same. Well, see, people who collaborate, we all recognize one thing. We all recognize that it takes a village.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know how we preach that it takes a village to raise a child. Yes. But it also takes a village to sustain a business. You know, from all fronts, it takes a village because once you're out there, you need people to be able to come to you for that service. Okay, so how do I get the people to come? Somebody else might have that idea that can weigh in on it. Or, and when they get here, how, one of the biggest things that I see from business services is how can I do and be better at customer service so that people will come back? Does it really, when you put your order in at that restaurant and they say it'll be ready in 15 minutes and you get there and it takes an hour and a half,
Oh yeah.
you're complaining. The food is good though. The food is good.
Oh, Carol, there's so much more that we have to delve into. There's so many things that entrepreneurs need.
Right. But did I really sit in that parking lot for an hour and a half waiting on it?
For the pancakes? Oh, I'm sorry.
For the ribs?
The chicken? Well, no, you got people that are vegan. I'm sorry. For a vegan burger. Sorry.
Right. But this happens every day. Every day. And there's one restaurant, and of course I can't call any names, but I try to get my husband to go pick up food and he's like, um, can you pick somebody else because I don't want to sit in the parking lot for an hour and a half.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
So, are there any last thoughts that you would like to give to people that are already in business already? Wisdom, insight, strategic instruction, whatever way you want to put it. Are there any insights that you would like to leave as, I don't want to say nuggets, but boulders with our audience?
Well, if you're already in business, just have faith, and be a student of the be a student of the half dozen. I use that because a student of the half dozen is going to go out of their way to get what they need so that they can keep going. Okay, because if you don't get what you need and you don't talk to people and you don't study to show yourself approved at whatever business venture it is, you're not going to be in business. And the fact that technology changes so rapidly,
Ooh,
you got to keep up, and you got to figure out, how can I use some of this technology to my advantage so that I can make my business run faster and smoother.
yes.
Okay. And I'm telling you now, if you don't keep up and do your research and talk to people and try to figure out just how to keep up with the technology, you're going to be out of business.
Or they could hire someone like you that does texting platforms. And you want to tell us really quickly about what you do and how you can help our audience out?
Okay. So I do, for businesses, small to medium sized businesses, integrity marketing. And I have
Mm.
constituents, and I need to push these messages out to them. So you can get on my platform and push your message out, for events, or even, if you're a restaurant and you're pushing it out a couple times a week, you know, to the people that like that turkey or that hot dog or those tacos, or maybe you're dry cleaners and you would like to let people know that their clothes are ready. You can push it all out on my text message marketing platform. Me a lot of money because I knew that I was going to be able to use it in certain areas of my business, and that I would not have to parlay the cash outlay to someone. I could just pay my monthly fee and AI does it. So I'm
Okay.
excited about that. Um, so yeah, so I do a lot of in the tech space. I do the mobile business cards as well. You remember that? I still do those.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
you
we have put her information up for you if you guys want to reach out to Miss Carol for using any of her products or
is really accelerating with the times. You don't have to go to a location. We will give you some business consulting straight off of Zoom.
What?
Yes, you don't have to go anywhere.
So you don't
No,
have to be based on region if you're in
not,
Northwest Indiana or.
not anymore.
Oh, see, it pays that you joined the Red Hot News today. I just learned something again myself.
Yep,
Several
not
things.
anymore. And if if business people are looking for a subject matter expertise in certain areas, you can look up that person that has that unique skill set that you need. That is a score mentor.
What? Okay, I'm
Yes,
about to jump out
and
of my
I
chair.
don't
Stay
care if
calm. What you say?
I don't care if they're in Oregon.
What?
Okay, because now, I mean, this levels the playing field. You
Ah,
don't have to go to Indiana to talk to me. You don't have to come to Munster. You don't have to come to Valparaiso. You don't have to come to Gary. You don't have to come to DC. I
do
mean,
you hear that,
DC
everyone?
offices.
We don't have
You
an
can
excuse.
you can talk to me over video, and we could, yes, and we
Okay,
will help you. And score is free. Now, if you don't like free, then I'll give you what my fee is for consulting. But this
okay.
is one of the ways that I give back to the community is being a certified score mentor since 2015.
So if someone likes to possibly consider looking into having you be a mentor, through SCORE, how would they get in contact with you?
Um, just let me know. You could get in contact with me by doing Carol.Williams hyphenated white at volunteerscore.org.
Okay. So say that
And
one more time, and we'll put that up for our audience to take a look at, and then they can be able to reach you that way. Say it
okay,
again, please.
so it's Carol.Williams hyphenated white
Okay.
at volunteerscore.org.
Okay. So we'll work to get that on the screen, and we just want to thank Miss Carol Williams White for coming out to the Red Hot News today. You've provided some insights for business owners that are thinking about going into business, people that are in business, and people that have been in business for a while. And it's refreshing information, news. It's something that they can use right now, no matter where they are, if they have an ear to hear and if they're not a know it all. If you're a know it all, I'm sorry. Look, you have a long, hard road ahead of you. There's information here. There's like minded people that are in this circle that can assist and help you and take you and give you the resources you need to go to the next. So if you're stagnant, it's your fault. You got to just let drop the mask and just say step out on the water and let's make it happen. So we're here to give the business owners the resources that they need, and this is hot business news that you can use. Thank you for joining the Red Hot News again. I'm your host, Michiel D. Burnett, and we'd like to thank Carol Williams. And let's hear a word from our sponsor, and we'll see you next time.
Before we dive into the latest insights, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible sponsors behind the Red Hot News. DBC Offices is your go-to hub for business success, connecting you with resources that drive community impact. Then there's VM, or Vision Marketing, elevating brands with their strategic marketing expertise.
Ray Digital Business Solutions is all about innovating digital strategies that fuel growth. And let's not forget Andre Heavenly Home Care Services, providing compassionate care that truly makes a difference. These sponsors are the backbone of our show, helping us deliver the content that matters most to you. So, when you support them, you're supporting the very essence of Red Hot News.
Before we